Hey folks, Ken here. Just a quick update on if you watched last week's video on my filter disaster. Just to show you the two screens that are out. So um, that is my screen that looks like Alien came through it. That's the second screen. So the screen on the drum is in two pieces. This one actually looks okay. Oh, there's a little, is there? I'm not sure. No, there's not a nick in it there. I thought there was. It's pretty okay. This one is obviously completely knackered. You can see it's just a sort of a gauze stretched over a plastic or PVC frame. What happened was, I mentioned last week as well, I got the Cactolia, I have it turned off there, 7-in-1 wireless, and I decided, because I wanted to put it in the filter, that I would get the new floating one. And to make a long story short, I put it, I thought I'll just show you here. Ugh, them out of the way. I put it down in the dirty side. Now I thought it floats, there can't be that much pull. I don't have the pond pumps going mad. But came out a couple of hours later, realised my spray bar was lying across over here. It had snapped and there was a big hole in the drum. Now what had happened, and I would have even thought, to be honest, if there was a possibility it would get sucked in and it would roll around the drum, but unfortunately it got caught up in the drum, it stuck out through the drum, snapped the spray bar. So I had a mate come out today and thankfully we were able to, you can see there's a new double union there, or a single union rather, there. So we replaced the pipe from there up and put a new union in here. It actually, the old union on the spray bar screwed directly into the new union I got, so we thought we might have to cut and put a join there, but we didn't, so that worked perfectly. What I also did as well, I have this gully flush thing. Now I often wondered how it worked. You can see a black hose going down there, goes in under my waste gully and comes up the back and pushes water. I couldn't really remember seeing that working, and I often wondered if this electronic valve, and there's a control box little computer thing up in here, a Siemens yoke, and it's set in that every 10 flushes there was a wire coming from the unit, it's gone now, and there was an electronic valve here that was supposed to open. Noticed no difference. So what we did was, and because it was rusty, it wasn't stainless steel, and I don't have it, I put it over in the garage. It looked unsightly, so when my mate Dave was here, he said, listen, what he did with his one was he just put a manual valve in, and it now washes every time. And so I can't really show you because I can't press the button and do this at the same time, but it does feel as though there's a lot more water, and even with that fully open there's still plenty of pressure on this. So cost, so the stupid problem, breaking the spray bar. So I'd say, you know, between the valve, which I didn't have to do but I did it anyway, that was about €20. The bits of pipe and connections, I'd say, you know, and glue, I'd not much change out of €100 for that. And then the two screens, you know, really great getting them so quickly, but they were €255 shipped for the pair, which, you know, cost €350, which, you know, shit happens and all that, as you say. But thankfully it's now fixed and back up. But it's just amazing. It is cleaned and I vacked it as best I could, but it's just amazing when the drum isn't working how much crap settles in the pond between here and the bio chamber itself. It just shows you what the drum does. And there was a whole lot, for some reason, a whole lot of algae grew on this side, and maybe it just let stuff through and there's nitrates or something, I don't know. But anyway, not ideal. So I gave that a good clean down as we were doing this, vacked it out. We've tested everything, it's working. I did sort of pump out all the water, or most of the water, out of the filter as we were working on it, and so I need to top it up. The pond is too low for it to run. But I am very happy that within the space of a week. The other thing is my Cactolia. I have had problems with it, and the problems being, well, besides it obviously doing that, I've had problems with it from day one, where first of all I found it very hard to calibrate, because as I was moving it to the solution, it's supposed to, you know, you have I think a 4, a 7 and a 10, and it prompts you then as within on the yoke here, as you're calibrating to move this into the solution. You get 2 of each solution with it, but it wouldn't settle. It kept jumping around on me, and eventually I couldn't do a 3-point calibration. I did a 2-point. I think it was the 4 and the 7. That seemed to work, but I put it in anyway. But my pH was all over the place. It was, you know, 10 1 minute, then it should be down to 5, and it was all. So I got onto Cactolia. They have their email address very prominently on the app. And, you know, guys, I'm not a big YouTuber, so, you know, I know some of the guys got these to demo. I didn't. I paid for it, and I contacted them. In fairness to them, they answered me in a couple of hours. Straight up said, send us screenshots of the app and the history of the pH, which I did. Send them photographs of the probes. So I took this cover off and did that. Now, it took them a couple of days, but they did come back to me and say, listen, we've never seen this problem before where the pH jumps all over the place, and our conclusion is that it's a faulty sensor, possibly water ingress. So they just sent me a tracking number and said a new one is on the way. It'll take a couple of weeks, but to be honest, guys, shit happens. You know, sometimes I cause the shit, but fair play to Cactolia. They were really on the ball, and I know some of these places you buy, you know, and it is the cheaper end of the scale for this, but they were very responsive. You know, the English was very good. They understood what I was saying and they responded very quickly. So I'll let you know as soon as I get the new one. I don't see any signs of water ingress in this at all. Maybe it's just a faulty sensor, I don't know, but like it was from the time I turned it on when I got it, it was fluctuating when I was trying to calibrate it. So I've concluded it's just faulty out of the box, but these things happen, and it's the sensor, not the unit itself, I'd say. So it's a safe bet. I'll get a new one of these and I'll stick it in. But other than that, thankfully, as I say, back up and running. I am topping up the pond, because between drain and that, and then vacuuming it out and all the rest, there's probably 1,000 litres worth of water gone. I think the volume of this, when you measure it up, is about 1,000 litres. There's a bit of displacement in it, but not an awful lot. You know, I definitely won't be putting anything bar dirty water in the dirty side of the pond again, that's for sure. This can sit in my biochamber, and it's very safe in there, not a bother on it. And we're due a lot of cold weather. I'm glad I got the covers on last week, because we're hearing, and I think the UK is the same, that it's to get very cold next week. It's to be, you know, we'd be lucky to see north of 4 or 5 degrees during the day. So temperatures to drop fairly significantly. The pond's at 12.5 degrees. It's been mild enough again the last couple of days, so holding there. So that's it. Glad to report the problem solved. Cost a few bob, but you live and learn. And I'm sure, you know, as was said to me, I could have done more damage. It was just a screen, and I probably would have got away with one screen, but I got the 2, and I'll keep the slightly less damaged one, which doesn't have a hole in it. I'd say it would have been fine. I'll keep that as a spare, and I'll keep you maybe as a souvenir. I'll hang it up on the wall or something. I mean, you shouldn't, if you're going to knacker your drone, that's the way you do it. You know, you don't put a little hole in it. You go big. So I'll leave it at that. Thanks everyone. Cheers.